Another round of marathon talks conclude between North and South Korea with a deal reached to end the tension. I've got the latest updates from the Peninsula. It was not a good day for Chinese markets. Key indices essentially gave back the year in one day. Plus, after killing 15 in the Philippines, Typhoon Goni bears down on Japan. These stories are coming up next. This is the Asia Brief. Greetings and salutations, my excellent friends. Steve Miller here on this Tuesday, August 25th, 2015. Thank you so much for joining me today. As the rain bears down outside my window, let's go ahead and begin today with news from the Korean Peninsula. It was announced early Tuesday that after 43 hours of negotiations, a deal had been reached between Pyongyang and Seoul to de-escalate the tensions that had been brewing since late last week when North Korea fired an artillery shell over the DMZ. The first workday of the week was full of speculation as to what was going on behind the closed doors in Panmunjom between South Korea's Hong Yong-pyo and Kim Kwan-jin and North Korea's Kim Yong-gon and Hwang Pyong-so. The talks that began on Sunday continued for more than 24 hours without a single peep. Officials said one reason for the media blackout was to prevent the press from saying something that could derail the talks. I'm not sure what could have happened, since most of what's being reported in the media are simply quotes from official briefings. National Security Advisor Kim Kwan-jin spoke with reporters after the deal had been reached, saying that North Korea expressed regret over its landmine attack and promised to make efforts towards provocations not recurring. In exchange, South Korea will cease its propaganda broadcasts at noon today. According to the English statement of the agreement, North Korea will also take its troops off its semi-war state. And as I predicted, Chuseok family reunions were on the negotiation table. North Korea agreed to let them occur this year and in the future. But call me skeptical. After all this time, the DPRK has made promises in the past, and as always, backtrack. However, all the action of the day wasn't limited to Panmunjom. There was speculation regarding North Korea's missing submarines and deployed troops. At one point, a message carried by Yonhap News said that North Korea had sent amphibious crafts to the western sea coast. That may not be true, as the Joint Chiefs put the kibosh on that story, yet it did resurface in Yonhap's newsfeed along with a poorly photoshopped image from the DPRK. The United States and South Korea also announced they were in discussions to move B-52s and nuclear attack submarines into the theater, while photos were circulated in China of an armored column passing through Yanji in the Yanbian Korean Autonomous Prefecture in China's eastern Jilin province. If all of these discussions were true, it would have put a substantial military presence on Kim's front door. The agreement that expressing regret and a promise not to do this again, to me, is different than Pak's hardline call for an apology. However, the promise of family reunions, to many, may have been more important and worth the semantic slide. It was not a good day for the markets in China. Panic selling is being blamed for an 8% drop in China indices. Monday was the largest single-day drop since the 2007 financial crisis. Monday's nosedive was bad enough, but if you haven't been keeping up with the market turmoil in China, things are truly worrisome, as the market indices lost 11% last week. Some feel that after the mingling China did before with their markets, Beijing's failure to announce protective measures may have spurred this latest round of selling. Taking a look at, well, as Marketplace's Kai Rizdal would say, the numbers, the blue chip CSI 300 index dumped 8.8%, the Shanghai Composite Index plummeted 8.5%, and the index futures contracts hit their 10% daily limit. It's difficult to judge whether investors are overreacting or whether the market is near its bottom. This is already a small-scale stock market disaster. Any rebound, if there is any, could be just technical, said Alex Kwok, analyst at China Investment Securities in Hong Kong. One investor who spoke to Reuters News had a rather gloomy outlook. Quote, "I regret not having fled the market last week. With the market falling like this, there's no hope at all. It's already a bear market, and the government is responsible." End quote. Typhoon Goni moved beyond the Philippines Sunday and unfortunately left 15 people dead. About a dozen of the casualties resulted from a landslide in a mining camp at Tenek village in Mankayan town. The storm dumped tremendous amounts of rain, which caused the natural disaster. In addition to those confirmed dead, more than a dozen are missing. Over 100 police and fellow miners conducted search and rescue efforts, but hopes have been fading. 32,000 people have abandoned their homes and evacuated to safer areas. At least 1,000 homes have been destroyed as a result of this latest typhoon. Flights and ferry trips have been canceled in Manila and nearby areas, but are expected to resume once the weather normalizes. Goni reportedly has sustained winds measuring 140 kilometers per hour, or about 87 miles per hour, with gusts up to 170 kilometers per hour, which is the equivalent of 105 miles per hour. Now it's bearing down on Japan. Roughly 100 people took to shelter as the storm passed over Okinawa. Robert Speta, a meteorologist in Japan, reported early Tuesday morning that Nagasaki had received a record 121 millimeters of rain in a 1-hour period, and that's the equivalent of 4.7 inches. Typhoon Goni is expected to complete its pass through Japan and South Korea by Wednesday. Well, my friends, those are today's stories, and I hope you'll take a moment to let me know your thoughts in the comments on Facebook or Twitter. The Asia Brief is a special feature of the Asia News Weekly podcast. If you enjoyed the podcast, please share it with your friends, and if you haven't, subscribe. Subscribing is free, and when you do, the next episode is delivered automatically to you. You can subscribe on our website, asianewsweekly.net, or in your favorite podcast application. You can also keep up with more news from the region by following Asia News Weekly on Facebook or Twitter. And if you have any comments, questions, or feedback, be sure to drop us a line. That email address is podcast@asianewsweekly.net. Thank you so much for joining me, and until next time, remember to be true to yourself and to always be awesome.